and this is why I'm starting the podcast this week. So I'm your host.
Oh,
Jesus
no.
Sandoval.
Remember the last time we tried starting that shit?
And this is your co-host, Stewart Keller.
Yeah.
Inferior in every
OG.
way.
I'm
Let's
the
go.
Real OG podcast host. Man.
Yeah, but as
Justice
Justice League has taught us, the original isn't always better.
True.
And that's why it's time for a new age.
I gotta really respect Joss Whedon, not as a person. He's kind of a piece of shit. A lot of sexual harassment claims.
Right.
Even his wife has come out and tried to verify it. But as an auteur or refill director, I respect that he didn't fuck with Zack Snyder's vision.
Is he really an auteur?
I mean,
Does he have that much control over every aspect of film, like the films he
he
makes?
comes from TV. You know what I mean?
I could see that.
He's a very hands-on person, and we were talking about in Starbucks earlier before we started the podcast. But you mentioned Michael Bay,
right?
Piece of shit.
Who's
human being.
definitely an auteur.
Piece of shit, yeah, auteur, definitely. Piece of shit human being, not an auteur when it comes to script. But yeah, he's another one who gets really...
That's fair.
I would say Joss Whedon is more of an
he
auteur.
has input in the script.
Input, but he doesn't give a shit.
Like if we look at Transformers 2.
He gets on his fucking hands and knees with the cameras, you know what I mean?
That's true. And look, okay, so Bay doesn't give a shit about, like, the script as a whole, but he has ideas for what he wants to make, and those parts of the scripts will be there. I mean, look at Revenge of
that is also very true. I want to point out one thing that he did in a positive light. The movie Bad Boys.
Right.
It's a pretty good movie. It's really entertaining. Two very likable leads. And that movie was basically, they threw that script out, and basically all of that movie is now just Michael Bay on the fly.
Right.
And it was very entertaining, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So look, I don't know. I think he doesn't give a shit. When it comes to Transformers, he doesn't give a shit. And he has ideas for what he wants to do, and that's it. At this point with 5, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. But at least as far as 2 went, he had his ideas for his action scenes. He had those done, and then he had a bunch of people who weren't right.
Did you see it last night?
I haven't.
Never have I.
I've seen interviews talking about it from Michael Bay.
Okay, from what I've seen of all the Transformer movies, I can tell you this. He's a man who just seems like he's having fun with his job. You know what I mean? He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's an auteur in that sense. He's like, this will be fun. This will entertain me. Seeing an underage character half dressed, that will
getting
entertain
oogled by a entitled little shit.
Things exploding, American flags, that will entertain Michael Bay.
Yeah, the army.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to kind of bring that home to this is not an endorsement for Michael Bay.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, but no.
I think we're both in agreement that he's definitely far down on the direction.
He's a piece of shit, humanly and creatively. But creatively, Joss Whedon. Yeah, that's why he was so bitter at fucking Marvel. Is they kind of really stepped in on Age of Ultron, and you can tell. The Avengers is entirely his. That is his movie from the ground up. Literally every second is just a quip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This movie didn't feel quippy. It didn't feel like Marvel's jokes. And that's what I was afraid of when you're like, oh shit, Joss Whedon's coming in. They're gonna fucking Marvel the shit out of this movie. Its humor felt different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that goes to show just how much control Disney has over what Marvel movies are. That's
the thing though. You gotta, when you think about the Marvel movies and their humor and all their control, and this goes for Star Wars too, everything that Disney controls, they micromanage the shit out of their movies.
Yeah.
Is it so much the director's work or is it Disney's work? When it works with what they want, J.J. Abrams can do whatever the fuck he wants, but what he wants to do is very safe. He just wants to redo everything that New Hope did. Then you have Rogue One. And Rogue One, you see that it didn't fit in line with what Disney wanted, and they went and they reshuffled a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Now, also, Han Solo, earlier in production, they just fucking fired both directors and got Ron Howard to replace him. Now, Ron Howard is a great director, a horrible director, and an okay director. He's literally directed all those types of things. And I hope for the best with this movie, but I'm honestly not worried because it's Disney, and this is why. Because Disney micromanages, they have a very high average on hitting that mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's safe.
I think it's safe to say that like usually, you know, when you think of intervention from the studio, you think, oh, it's gonna make it even worse. But like, it's not always the case. Sometimes, sure, like there's your Fan4 stick, you know, your fucking Spider-Man 3, which is actually still a good movie, regardless of, you know, its faults. But still, you know, you look at these movies and you say like, oh, well, the director could have done something better.
It's interesting to say with, okay, so one thing I want to bring up is X-Men Origins Wolverine, right?
Right.
X-Men Origins Wolverine is a prime example of everyone always, oh, the studio did this, oh, the studio did that. That movie happened the same month as the writer's strike, which, I don't know if you know about this, but it was back in 2009.
Yeah, it was around the time Revenge of the Fallen happened, and that's why Revenge of the Fallen is so poorly written, because it actually wasn't written by professional writers.
And that's also why one of the only ones that was actually successful was Breaking Bad. They actually had to cut 4 episodes out of that season, one of which would have killed Jesse and Gomez. So it actually it worked out. Like that show was so fucking solid, but it still worked with 4 missing episodes.
Yeah.
That being said, when they say the studio interfered with X-Men Origins Wolverine, I don't think that's very fair as an example. Like Fan4 Stick is a great example of studio interfering. But they really just had to save that project. With no script, that movie was written in a weekend.
Yeah.
That's a 2.5-hour movie written in a weekend. So, like, of course, the studio is going to be, like, stepping in every other day, like, hey, is this thing actually going to work? Are we actually going to make money back on this? This is a $200 million movie. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of tension going into that movie.
Yeah, that movie was destined to fail, but...
Well, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully Disney can pull off a good one.
Which one?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. That being said, they've already given him the green light for the next Star Wars trilogy. Which is like, I don't think they would give a director an entire trilogy to himself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the new one, like, the fact that they have Rian Johnson, like, I'm really excited for the fact, not only the new trilogy, because it's from Looper, but the fact that they already greenlit an entire trilogy to one guy means that this new movie has to be pretty damn good.
That's fair. You know, and
and Disney's very protective.
Yeah, but like I think there is definitely like, sure, they greenlit, but things can change, things can happen, and it's nothing set in stone.
Right.
But I think it's definitely going and saying like, you know, we're putting a lot of faith in this director to say they are doing 3 of the most popular movies ever fucking made. This franchise is gonna be a big deal for a long time now.
But you can fuck it up real quick.
Exactly. You know, if you run into at least as far as consensus goes, a prequel situation, you know, people are not going to be happy, and it's going to be a huge backlash.
Prequel's so good.
Yeah. 1 is good. It's good.
Oh.
It's not great. And
Second one, it's pretty good. Slightly better.
Yeah, it's better. It's is it great? I don't think so.
No, it's not great. No.
But the third one, that's a great movie.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Third one's in the 90s.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, but enough stroking prequel dick. Like, look, if it's Star Wars is such a delicate franchise. If you do something wrong, if you piss off enough people, it's gonna lead to huge problems.
Did you hear about Battlefront 2?
No.
Okay, so they released Battlefront 2 with all of your favorite characters unlocked. Locked. You can't play them.
Yeah, all my favorite characters, all the ones I never played because I've never played. So.
Okay, do you know who Bosk is?
No.
Do you know who Darth Vader is?
Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking Battlefield.
No, you
Holy
fucking
shit.
dumbass.
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
Star Wars
yeah.
Battlefield 2.
Well, yeah, but that seems, yeah, that's what games do.
No, that's not what games do. What happened now is the exaggeration of what gamers have been saying for the longest time. What they've been exaggerating about literally happened with Battlefront 2, because I'll tell you why. So they release it. They didn't say you have to, it is 60,000 credits in order to get Darth Vader. Now, you can't if you wanted to, like, okay, there's a difference with Injustice where, like, it kind of sucks that you can't play as Red Hood and you got to pay $7, whatever. But at least there's a price tag on that and you can buy it. With Battlefront 2, they said in order to get those credits, you have to buy loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And in those loot boxes, it will give you credits. And there's no guarantee in each loot box how many credits you'll get. Now, if you wanted to...
Can you get the loot boxes in-game?
Yeah, the loot boxes are in-game.
So then can you purchase them outside of that?
No, it's just in the game. Like, when you're inside the game, you fucking swipe your credit card and then you...
Oh.
Yeah. But there's no guarantee of you actually getting those credits.
Uh-huh.
Or, they said you can play 40 hours. And that would give you enough credits to play as Darth Vader.
That's not a guarantee. It depends what you're doing with the game.
No, because it's based on time.
Oh.
Yeah. The average of each match is 11 minutes, so times that would be however matches.
Again, that's still... I mean, it's going to be around that time, but that's not an exact.
No, but the longer the match, the more points you get. It's time-based.
Mm.
They want it to be 40 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. But, take it from me, who has, like, a bunch of different jobs and schools. You can't fucking have 40 hours to play a video game, you know what I mean?
So yeah, if you're dedicated to Battlefront, like, as a franchise, of course, you're gonna fucking play the game, you're gonna get the fucking Darth Vader, whatever.
Dedicated, but who has that time, you know what I mean? There's a small margin of the audience.
I don't know if it's small margin. I mean, look, if you think about it like this, fucking, if your target audience is generally people who are still in school.
Right.
Then they have 8 hours a day when they're fucking doing stupid shit in school that doesn't matter and will help them in the future, really. And then they get to come home and do 8 hours of other shit that's not going to help them in the future.
But they're not the ones paying for the money. That's where the conflict of interest comes in.
Yeah.
So if you're selling all those loot boxes, now this is where Overwatch does it right, because it's cosmetic.
Right.
You're not trying to fucking get ahead by paying $500. If someone pays $100, you're only a fourth of the way towards getting Darth Vader, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. That's
you need $400 just to get Darth Vader? Roughly?
Roughly. And that's estimate because that's a loot box system.
Right, it's randomized.
Right. So someone put in $100.
And Darth Vader is just better than the other characters.
Right.
Okay, that's kind of stupid.
Right.
So to be... Okay, to be great at the game, like... Sure, I'm sure there's a margin of error, I'm sure, where, like, a great player can beat a good player regardless.
Yeah.
But, like, if you want to be, like, the best and you want to, like, really put in the hours...
Easy.
You're gonna need the best characters, and if those characters are basically, like, that's so fucking stupid.
Here's where I defend DLC. When it's something like Grand Theft Auto, who they release the online, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's just a base game. But then, like, a year later... in order to keep people playing online, they'll add Tron bikes.
Uh-huh.
No one ever thought of fucking Tron bikes when you made Grand Theft Auto. That was just something they put in afterwards. And you know what? That was free.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a free experience online. Another good example would be certain things like Bethesda, right?
Right.
So, like, it's or Uncharted. Uncharted will have, like, this extra chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A side mission or something.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And that's where everyone's been calling foul. It hasn't been until Battlefront 2 happened, but I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see that, but, like, really, and DLC has always been kind of hit or miss for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
anything with money involved is a hit or miss. But
for sure. Like,
DLC
if you look at, I suck a
connotation.
lot, and this is not necessarily on the podcast yet, but I suck a lot at Dark Souls dick.
Mm-hmm.
But Dark Souls 1 has in my opinion, the worst type of DLC.
Ooh, what kind?
It is this was made during the making of the game. Like, this was obviously, this was just cut so we could sell it to you later. And, like, look, I get it from a marketing standpoint, from a studio standpoint, but, like, no, I don't like that.
If it stands on it, like, if you take it out and it doesn't work, that's where I call foul.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It works either way.
Oh, okay. Then no.
Narratively, it's a perfect fucking game. I love it. I love everything
what I
about
don't
it.
call foul. What I call foul
But I see the fucking strings there, and I'm like, that's such shady bullshit.
That goes with every industry.
That's true, but like there's a difference between like, you know,
like
well, like now we want like a new level in this game that we like thought of, and like of course we like,
okay,
you know,
think about it this way: they recorded 2 versions of Walk on Water. One with Skylar Grey, who you've heard the song "I Need a Doctor" with Eminem, right?
Of course.
It's her, Skylar Grey. She's the one who sang that hook, and then she also wrote this one, and then she also sang it in one version. But then there's the Beyonce version that everybody knows. Now there's 2 versions. Now you make twice as much, and you can see the strings there. You can be like,
yeah, you're
like, okay, people like Eminem. People don't know who the fuck Skylar Grey is, so we don't get Beyonce. You know what I mean?
Right.
The strings are there. But
then for the other people, the people who like they know their Eminem,
right? Like
they're gonna be like, well, I want this version.
Yeah, I really like the Skylar Grey version.
Yeah.
And so far, it's just a live version. I can't wait for it to come out on like the phone so I can.
Nice. Yeah. With that nice studio polish that everyone I'm sure loves.
But the thing with Battlefront though is by blocking Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, those are the 2 big ones. Those are the ones that cost like $400. Then like Leia and like other characters like 40,000. You know what I mean? So on and so forth.
You're kind of excluding casual players in doing that.
Exactly.
People who just kind of want to dick around and have fun.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't really appreciate that. And like, I agree with your point earlier. Like Overwatch, it is all cosmetic. Like you can have fun playing stupid fucking Lucio who gets to push people off cliffs. That's all he does.
It's like, yo, you want
great.
a fucking crazy Christmas hat to reference like Team Fortress 2? Go for it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna fucking spend the $10, so I'm perfectly happy with my sniper who works just as fine without the Christmas hat.
Yeah.
Am I jealous? Yes, but that's, you know, that's greed, and that's, you can see the strings there too. There are strings everywhere.
Where do you get your information?
What do you mean?
Where are you getting this from?
What do you mean?
Your fucking Christmas hats and your snipers.
Personal experience.
You've played Overwatch?
No, Team Fortress 2.
I
said to reference Team Fortress 2.
Well, I thought you were saying like there are references like for Team Fortress 2 in Overwatch.
Oh no. No, I said 2 references.
I mean, there's very similar games for sure.
I knew from research that Overwatch's stuff was cosmetic, which reminded me of Team Fortress 2, which is what I've played, so that's why I was speaking on that.
Yeah, fair point. I love that game. That game's fun.
You have Overwatch again, don't you?
Huh?
You have Overwatch again, don't you?
Again? What do you mean again?
Because you had brought it over, and then I brought it back to you.
Oh, I have it, yes.
God damn it. We need to play that.
Oh, we do need to play that. That's a fun game.
Okay, next time you come over, what we're going to do is we got to do a Let's Play of Overwatch and Skyrim. Those 2 games.
I'm down.
That'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think that concludes everything.
Lucio for life, bitches.
Through all the things I've had to see, visions of the pods to be, the moral limits are unseen, and now it all seems clear to me that arguing is painless. It brings a little changes, and I can do it with whomever I please.
Fuck you, no you can't, only with me.